You'll be just fine in retirement if, there's a big if here. So I've been doing a lot of research on various papers. This is from Satisfaction and Comparison Income from these guys right here. Andrew Oswald, University of Warwick, and Andrew Clark, École d'Économie de Paris. That's how we in French say the Economics School of Paris. Economic School of Paris. That's what we say, our French-speaking people like me. I speak French. Oui, oui. Interestingly enough, is this is written in 2000 and only had 8,700 reads, and yet has been quoted 2,600 times. I find, and this is I don't want to say it's a big piece of economic literature, but I just find it very interesting how little people actually read this stuff. It's crazy. And how many economists, how many sociologists, how many professors we put out there who are publishing stuff that no one reads. And at some point, you got to say, look, we don't need to be all mainstream, but at some point, we're probably producing too many economic professors, too many PhDs, generally speaking. I think there's too much of that, which is actually ironic. I know it's a little bit of tangent hanging there, but it's ironic because what this guy says, this is funny to me. The higher the level of education, the lower the reported satisfaction level. This is hard to interpret, but may be consistent with the view that utility depends on the gap between outcomes and aspirations, and that education raises aspiration targets, 100%. How many freaking PhDs are out there? Oh, it's not fair, man. I'm not making any money. I gotta be a barista. I gotta be a freaking tour guide, but I'm so smart. I got a PhD in histoire. Oh my goodness. I tell you, man, it's very interesting. So what they did in this paper, they did random studies of I think 5,500 British households, and they it's in terms of job satisfaction, life satisfaction, all that. And they two things actually jumped out was that level of satisfaction is a inverse relationship. Satisfaction goes down the more educated you are. Part two of this, which I thought was interesting, was that they also found that being in a trade union has a large and significant negative effect on reported job satisfaction. And that effect has been found in many, many other papers too. I'm surprised by that. I would have thought being a trade union would make you have more satisfaction because you're less likely to get fired and whatnot. But that's what they found. I'm just reporting data. Don't shoot the messenger. Anyway, so this is interesting. Job satisfaction. I know you're saying, what does that have to do with retirement? Hang in there, dudes. Hang in there. There's a methodology. I'm setting up the foundation so we can knock it out of the park. Game 7, Stanley Cup. I guarantee tonight, Panthers 4-1. You heard it here first. Lock, stock, and barrel. You know it. Panthers going to go up 3-1 in the third, and then they're going to empty netter with 2 minutes left, and that's going to be a game. You heard it here first. Job satisfaction rises with a level of self-reported physical health. Individuals who work in small establishments are happier than those in big establishments. Union members are less happy than non-union. There's a strong effect from age, with evidence of a mild U-shape and then a positive effect overall. A strong effect with age, evidence of a mild U-shape, but a positive effect overall. Now, I'm coming to the conclusion, I did a video on this yesterday, that as people get older, they're less worried about the Joneses, less worried about keeping up the Joneses. I think there are some people, I get it, all the rich people, they want to have the biggest yacht. But I don't think the vast majority of just a good old-fashioned middle-class Americans, America, is like that. I think most people, as they get older, like, But part two of that is I think there's 3 parts of this. Part two of that is I think their kids get older. They stop worrying so much about their kids. How am I going to put them in schools, colleges, and all that? So what happens is you have an age. You get older, you just get wiser, more mature. You say, all this stuff I was worried about before, I don't need to worry about. Their kids are getting older. You're always going to worry about your kids, I grant you. But as your kids are adults, there's only so much you can do about it. Your kids can do whatever the hell they want to do. There's nothing you can do about it. So I think the worry for that reduces too. It'll never go away, I grant you. I think the worry there as your kids get older is just, as a teenagers, you're like very, very worried about your children. And they get older, especially if they get settled down, they have their own kids and they have grandkids, So now your life satisfaction increases because grandchildren are God's reward for a life well lived. One of you guys told me that. I forgot who it was. That was a fantastic quote, though. Grandchildren are God's reward for a life well lived. Anyway, so now you're getting older. You're just less concerned about living with the Joneses, you have, keeping up with Joneses. You have more wisdom in terms of all the stuff that worried you before is less worrisome now. You've had a good life. Like even if the nukes, which I think is completely nonsense, that this whole idea that, oh my goodness, we're all gonna get nuked. I think it's stupid. It's just a way to keep people in fear. Even the nukes came, like I've had a good life. My kids are older. I got grandkids. But, and here's the one thing I'm telling you, we're going to go back to the survey of consumer finances. I cannot stress this enough because you're just not that worried. With satisfaction levels are, I don't want to say through the roof for retirees, but they're certainly much, much higher than they are for workers. And partly you can say is because they don't have to go to a crappy old job, I grant you. But watch what I think it really is. Really not income, because here's 75 and older. 75 and older has the lowest income of all these age groups. 35, 45, 55, 65. 75 and older. In fact, 65 and older has the second lowest. So basically, the older you are, the less income you have. And yet these are the happiest people too. Why is that? I wonder what is the less than 35 got below. Even, look at that. Even 75 has less income than the less than 35. Now there is a U-shape, I don't have my thing here, but basically says that your happiness starting out is high, then it goes down as you get to about mid 40s, late 40s, and then it starts going back up again. But it's not based on income, because if it were, here's your income. Notice this is the lowest people. This is 75. Look, they're always lower income. These are bottom two, 65 and 75, the lowest income. It's not based on income. So it's not income that makes you happy. What is it? It's debt level, debt. Look at that. The debt level of the lowest earners is the lowest as well. All right, so the debt level for 75 and older is $36,000 in 2022 numbers. The debt level for 65 and 74 is $45,000. All right. The debt level for these people up here is well above 100 for 35, 44, 45, 54. But Josh, look, they have the lowest income, but they also have the lowest debt. Let's look at percentage holding debt. Look at that. So what you'll see here is basically if you're 75 and older, almost a half don't have any debt at all if you're 75 and older. But if you're 35 to 44, what does that say? 87 or 97? I guess 87% have debt. So the older you get, the lower your debt is. Even though your income's dropping off, look at that. 53% have debt. 53% have debt. And the median debt of those 53% is $36,000. And yet the median net worth of that same group of people, 75 and older, the highest net worth. The highest net worth, well, not the, I don't think it was the highest, was it? No, the second highest. After the third highest. After 65 to 74-year-old age group. So their debt level is dropping drastically. The number of people who have debt are dropping drastically. Their income is lower than anybody else, but their net worth is higher. So they're like, I got some debt, but my net worth is significantly more than my debt. Even though my income is lower than all the other people, I just don't care because my debt's paid off. That's why you're going to be comfortable in retirement. Debt goes down. The percentage of people with debt goes down. The median amount of debt goes down. Your income goes down, but your net worth has gone up. So your ability to pay off that debt is increasing by the day. And that's why you're going to be just fine in retirement. That's why I just focus on. So we got less worry about the Joneses, not so worried about our kids. We got more wisdom. We got less debt and a higher net worth. It's the perfect conclusion of why people are retired, are happy. And the number one thing is just pay off your debt, for sure. Pay off your debt, you're not going to worry about it. Love your thoughts. Hope this makes sense. God bless.